This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Right now at 5, Webster Groves police investigating an attempted car theft that turned deadly. Just after midnight, police showed up to a strip mall on the Laclede station, and that's where they found a man who said 2 other men confronted him. He says he feared for his safety and fired his gun, killing one of the suspects. Good evening. I'm Brent Solomon. Police identified the deceased suspect as 19-year-old Javion Bibby. His alleged accomplice, 18-year-old Ronnie Jewett, is now charged with second-degree murder. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay is in Webster Groves getting reaction.
It's a community that isn't used to the flashing blue and red lights.
My first feeling was shock.
But on Saturday, this suburb of St. Louis found itself at the center of a murder investigation.
I cannot believe that it happened in a strip mall in Webster Groves.
Around 12:30 Saturday morning, police were called here to Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Laclede Station Road for a possible motor vehicle theft. When they arrived, a man says he was confronted by 2 people in black ski masks outside of his car. The man says he feared for his safety and pulled out his gun, shooting one of the 2 people, and that person died. The other ran away, but police caught them shortly after in Afton.
Here we are in a very affluent neighborhood, and it's happening right here, right under our nose.
Nearly 12 hours later, evidence from the scene still remains here in the parking lot. We spoke to several people here today. Now, many of them said, while it's shocking this kind of crime happened in Webster Groves, at this point, it's happening everywhere.
It can happen anywhere, you know. Some people are afraid of this going downtown.
Agnes Manarelli says in this day and age, she feels defenseless because she doesn't want to carry a weapon.
I don't feel like learning how to use a gun at this stage in my life, or at any point in my life was I interested in doing that.
That's why Manarelli takes safety precautions of her own, because she never knows where or when the next crime will be.
I like to try to be in by no later than 10 p.m. and usually I'm in, earlier than that, but I just don't like to stay out late. It really in any neighborhood, even in my own.
In Webster Groves, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Police tell us the shooter is not being charged. Anyone with information should contact Webster Groves Criminal Investigation Unit at 314-963-5419. We have an update tonight in another murder investigation in St. Louis County. Police asking for the community's help in a shooting that killed 32-year-old Teron Bales. Someone shot him late Thursday afternoon outside of his home. The major case squad is investigating, looking for clues to what happened. If you have any information on this or maybe footage, call the Maplewood Police Department at 314-645-3000 or Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. We're working to learn much more about these developing stories. Tune in on air and online for up-to-date coverage. Let's go ahead and turn to your weather first forecast. We have some live images coming in from outside. What a cold day in the city. Temperatures dropping from the mid-80s to the low 40s just yesterday. And the cold temperatures seem to be here to stay. Weather first meteorologist Gary Frank joining us now. Gary, why the sudden drop?
Well, it's that time of the year. Well, it's a matter of time, and we finally got it. We waited for a while, but here we are. And, we've got temps going from tying a record yesterday to now it's really feeling like the fall. In fact, well below average. In fact, on the other side of the state, I'll show you that they've actually got a little bit of snow in Kansas, central Kansas. Now, we're not going to get into that stuff, but you can see the steady line of showers and storms that is starting to fill in. We'll see more of that here over the coming at least next few minutes. You'll start to see that from New Athens, Belleville, all the way to Frederickstown and Farmington as we have light to moderate rain. And that's all it is a nice steady rain, even as we look further to the north. Settling into the city from Chesterfield, from O'Fallon on the Missouri side, all the way to Bowling Green. It's a pretty steady rain. We have more behind it. I think we're going to continue to see that. Temperatures on the other side of the state in the 30s. We're in the low 40s, even 39 in Columbia. So there's still is cold air that's filtering in, but I don't think we're going to drop a whole lot over the next few hours. So into this evening, I'm not expecting much of a change, but we are already looking ahead at our first freeze warning of the year. We'll talk about how that's impacting us as we talk about cold air settling in and how long this trend will continue.
It's that time of the year. Gary, thanks. A local dance company preparing for a brand new season. Big Muddy in St. Louis is redefining its identity while celebrating diversity. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings is in University City with a peek at what's to come.
Hey.
Every day looks different and every day feels different, like I'm a different version of myself. Every step on this dance floor is a part of a story.
I found them on Instagram. I was looking for auditions and trying to figure out what my next steps were after graduating college.
22-year-old Denver native Nina Moore is now proudly pursuing her passion with the Big Muddy Dance Company, joining an ensemble of 15 other creatives, local and from across the globe in St. Louis.
And I think that St. Louis is a fantastic arts city, and something that could have really galvanized the art scene here is the inclusion of contemporary dance with how it uses stage acting, text.
Jarrell Lawyer Jefferson from Germany is the oldest in the ensemble at 33, inspired to inspire.
I am kind of paying it forward.
How are we on time, sir?
These movers spend 6 hours, 5 days a week rehearsing at the Center of Creative Arts in University City. They're embodying the word and their upcoming season, Becoming. Boston native and Alvin Ailey alum Kervin Douthit Boyd makes sure there's meaning in the movement.
Trying to bring the world of dance here to St. Louis and to give my dancers, a unique experience by way of different voices. What makes us special is the way that we are able to pull from our people in the community.
These dancers take the stage in many forms each season.
I am truly living my wildest dreams.
They want their audience to grow and take that journey with them.
We need people to advocate for the organization. We need them to be willing to resource the organization by attending shows and sharing their time and their treasure.
Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
And the company will host its big event on November 4th at Coca, where they'll premiere new places, or new pieces, I should say. You can get a table or a ticket, and Travis will serve as the master of ceremony. Tonight, a local Halloween party will serve as a fundraiser for the church-turned-skate park that burned down in June. A skate party fundraiser is happening in just a couple of hours to raise money to help rebuild Skate Laborious. You can get dressed up and participate in their version of trick-or-treating by showcasing your best skate park tricks. The fundraiser starts at 7 at the St. Louis Stadium. All proceeds go to rebuilding. President Biden could face a primary race for the 2024 presidential race. Friday, Representative Dean Phillips ended weeks of speculation when he kicked off his campaign for president. Phillips recently stepped down from his leadership position among Democrats in the House. Some say he was seen as a rising star on Capitol Hill, but declaring to run against President Biden is generating ill will among the party. There's one less presidential campaign on the Republican side now. Former Vice President Mike Pence announced he is suspending his campaign. The unexpected announcement came early today. Pence said, quote, "It's become clear to me that this is not my time." His campaign is running low on money. 5 on your side is committed to following both local and national elections that impact you. Tomorrow, The Record will launch as a weekly broadcast program. Every week, political editor Mark Maxwell will moderate hard-hitting interviews with political leaders that are fair, balanced, and focused on the facts. Tune in every Sunday night after Sports Plus. The show will continue to stream on KSDK.com, 5plus, and on our YouTube channel. Well, as the holiday travel season ramps up, the U.S. Department of State is now issuing a worldwide caution for people traveling overseas. A Verified team wanted to know if you find yourself stuck in a crisis in another country, will the U.S. bail you out? Here's Megan Brad.
Because of increased tension in many hot spots around the world, the State Department issued a worldwide caution when it comes to travel. But what if you find yourself in a crisis and need to get back to the United States? We are looking at some questions so we can verify if and when the U.S. will help. Our sources, U.S. Department of State Bureau of Consular Affairs, federal law, and the State Department Basic Authorities Act of 1956. Our first question, will the United States government always evacuate citizens in crises? According to the U.S. Department of State, if there are no commercial options, if there are consular officers at the embassy, and if conditions permit, they will help U.S. citizens identify possible transportation options. Or they will encourage people to stay at a safe location until they can find a commercial option to leave. So we can verify that no, depending on the situation, the U.S. government won't always evacuate citizens.
And finally, do you have to pay the U.S. government for evacuations if it's needed? According to federal law, assisted evacuation of a private U.S. citizen must be reimbursed to the maximum extent practicable. The payment for people who evacuate during times of war, crisis, or natural disaster has been in place for more than 60 years when it was included under the State Department Basic Authorities Act of 1956.
The U.S. Department of State says you do not have to pay before you board any transportation. However, you will need to sign a form promising to repay the U.S. government.
So we can verify that, yes, if the U.S. government helps evacuate you, you need to repay them for the cost. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
We always welcome your Verify ideas. Email verify@ksdk.com. Well, if you're traveling for Halloween, TSA wants you to know its standard protocols will apply to your costume accessories. When you go through security checkpoints, liquids must be 3.4 ounces or less, and that includes lotion and toothpaste, even costume accessories like fake blood. As always, weapons, real or fake, cannot go through security, and that includes plastic brooms, lightsabers, and pitchforks. If your destination is a Halloween party, you may want to consider putting your costume and accessories in your checked luggage. What an exciting weekend in St. Louis. Our MLS expansion team will hit the pitch tomorrow for the team's first playoff game during its very first season. Fans and businesses across the area are all waiting. City SC facing off against Kansas City Sporting tomorrow night. The team continues to surprise both fans and even City SC officials themselves.
We've surprised everybody, but I think everybody's also excited for us, too, because it has been such a great season. It's created, obviously, a lot of energy in St. Louis, but it's also created a lot of energy in MLS as well.
City SC is participating in a best-of-3 series. The first playoff game is tomorrow at 9 o'clock at City Park. The second game on November 5th in Kansas City. To stay on top of all of the City SC playoffs, text the word CITY to 314-425-5355. The Del Mar Loop was the place to be for a big Halloween event. That's Halloween. Take a look at the event that featured trick-or-treating for both pets and even the kids. The Loop also featured a pet costume parade. These furry friends decked out in their costumes, braving the chillier than usual October morning. Time now for your Weather First forecast. You know, Gary, either you hate it or you love it, but we knew that this time would come. It was gonna get cold.
Gonna get cold, right? And we've been talking about this all week, so it's just hard to prepare when we're in the mid-80s yesterday, and then all of a sudden, you know,
Just
right
like
there.
that, yeah.
And now we're going to feel it. It's going to get even colder. Not right away. I don't think the temps are going to change a bunch the rest of the next several hours, but you'll really notice it here as we look throughout the next few days. Let's look outside right now because, of course, you know, it's raining just about everywhere, or it has rained, and that's what you can see. One of the things I've talked about all week long, or even last weekend, and I wanted you to enjoy the leaves because look how many have fallen, and they will continue to fall as we have a lot of rain and wind picking up a little bit. But current temperatures obviously are on the cool side. We're in the low to mid 40s. We're not going to change a lot. These temperatures, even overnight, are not going to change a lot. We're kind of settled into this air mass. This continues over the next several hours. So tonight, don't expect a huge change. Showers are going to be around, and that's what you're going to be dealing with the rest of the evening. So be prepared for that as we look at the steady rain, and you'll notice how some of that cold air, even colder air behind it, is starting to settle in. So this is not going to change a lot over the next few hours, but we've got more rain that's settling in as well. So like I mentioned, from light to moderate rain from Perryville to DuQuoin, and also into Mount Vernon, you got a lot of steady rain also in Pittsfield. And there are pockets where it's a little bit heavier at times, and then it's just more of a drizzle, and that's what I think we're going to see the rest of the evening. Here's how this plays out over the next few hours, even as our temps hold pretty steady. We may get a break into the overnight hours with some light rain, but I think as you wake up tomorrow, this starts to pick up again, and then I think by really 2 or 3 o'clock, this is a really steady rain. When all the football games are on, it is going to be a very Sunday type day as we head into the rest of the next few hours. Cold air rushes in, but that dries us out. And I think, you know, that potential rainfall, we're going to get a lot of spots with at least an inch, maybe 2 inches. This is good beneficial soaking rain. This continues for us. The big story for us is that we are now under a freeze warning. This starts Sunday night into Monday, and so I want you to be prepared for this. I think a lot of you are understand that as we get to November, we're due for this. But if you still have those sensitive plants that are out, this is the time, because we're going to see a couple of mornings that are very cold, and we'll gradually work our way into that. There have been some areas of frost already, but by Sunday night into Monday, temperatures are going to drop to around 32 degrees. Out of the city, we're around 27 to 32. And then I think we continue to see that cold air settle in. So just as a heads up, be prepared for a cold Monday night into Tuesday, and Tuesday night into Wednesday, depending on when you're going to be outside. So we'll start off with rain tomorrow. It's a cold rain. Temps hardly go anywhere at all, but they do fall into the low 30s. Then we're in the mid 40s for the afternoon, but it's the freeze. Not only Monday morning, but then we start to work our way into a hard freeze where we're between 26 and 29, and that's where you can't just bring those plants in. You have to deal with the hard freeze. The growing season is ending. That's why we had that freeze warning. And then after that, we'll rebound, but it's definitely going to be a cold finish to the weekend and start to the week.
Yeah, we know you'll keep us posted, Gary.
Yep.
Thank you, my friend.